So essentially, I guess the core message here is like, look at your support needs of your users. If you're finding that there's a type of user who's sending in regular support requests and that user looks like a force multiplier, you may have an external advocate program waiting for you.
Hi, I'm Peter Cooper and I'm here with Joe Nash of GitHub, who are actually sponsoring DevRelCon.
We are.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Good stuff. And you're a student program manager. Just quickly, just tell me what that entails.
Sure. So my role is to look after the student users of GitHub. So we have about 1.3 million student developers that use GitHub every day.
Right.
And I'm making sure that they're successful in learning how to be a professional software developer and able to access the industry and open source.
And there's also kind of another aspect to that, from like the topic of your talk, which is all about external advocacy. So not just being a company and pushing your message out or anything like that. You're kind of bringing people into the fold and then helping them, they kind of help magnify what it is that
and that's the key word. Magnification is exactly what we're talking about. We talk about external advocates. We're looking at force multipliers that will both help the business spread our core message amongst a certain demographic of students, but ultimately are also looking to support the developer community in an interesting way. So when we talk about students and external advocacy, we're talking about what we call student leaders. These are students who are building clubs or hackathons, but fundamentally what they're interested in is helping their peers become better software developers. So today I'm talking about how we've built out a particular external advocate program, Campus Experts, and how the lessons we've learned from scaling that to over 1,000 students can be applied to other programs and other businesses and other products.
So what do the students actually do? Like what is it, once they're actually out there and they've gone through everything that you want to talk about and they're in the program, what do they actually do on a day-to-day basis that actually helps them being an advocate for you?
Sure. So the most important part of that program is kind of the core outcome for both us and the students. And what they're ultimately trying to do is build a successful tech community on their campus. Places like DevRelCon are fantastic because, as I just heard Anil Dash say, this is like a place of like-minded peers to get together, and that's like what professional developers rely on. So with these student leaders, we're helping them provide that same, facility on campus. And how we do that is we take them through training where they analyze their community and decide like what its current problems are and what it needs to really be great, and then we teach them the skills to do that. So for example, a lot of them, it's like, hey, we need to do more workshops around interesting topics to inspire students to get involved in the industry. So I, as a student, need to learn about public speaking, open source, interesting tech topics. So we give them training, and then once they've got that training, we help them with the resources they need. So maybe it's like, hey, I'm doing a workshop on campus. How do I get 50 students to spend their afternoon after a lecture with this workshop? I need some swag and some pizza money. So we're there to provide them with that. So their stories, like the things they've done, have been incredible. We've had some of them speak and like on big stages at our international conferences. Some of them organize multi-thousand person hackathons. We've had students in rural Cameroon go out and teach students in farm villages how to code. Like their stories, I could spend an entire hour-long DevRelCon slot telling their stories. It's been a real challenge to kind of like dilute that down into the real fundamentals of building the program. But they do some fantastic stuff. They've done over 140 activities over the last year.
So I imagine a lot of the people that are watching this aren't perhaps in a position where they would work with students. It might not be relevant to their business case. Is there any room for doing sort of external advocacy in that way within a more perhaps commercial realm, as it were? Does that work?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So where external advocacy, and this is something we touch on in the talk, external advocacy for us very much grew out of the strategy of our DevRel team. In particular, it grew out of a framework that the head of the team, John Britton, spoke about at DevRelCon Tokyo. And that framework is called Scoop. And the idea with Scoop is basically, it's planning your work in accordance with your inbound support needs. So the S in Scoop stands for support. And what you're looking for is repeated and familiar support requests. And this is something that developer evangelists are used to doing. You get inbound support requests, and you're like, oh, these look the same. I'm answering the same question a lot. I'll write a blog post to address it. But then what we do is go further. We write the blog post, or we make the piece of content, and then we go and say, cool, I've got this content, let's now do outreach, just go to conferences, whatever, to get the message out. Then you operationalize it. So in our case, for example, if you look at student leaders, they're reaching out to us a lot about, hey, can GitHub come and do a workshop? We probably can't, there's too many universities. So we send the resources to do it. So then we feel like, okay, we're getting all these inbound support requests, let's automate that reply. So if they ask about workshops, we send them to the right place straight away. And then at the end of that, you get to the P, which is program. And that's where things get interesting. You've got recurring support needs, you've got content to address that support need, you've then done outreach programs to communicate that support need, and then you've automated some stuff. So let's package all up, give it a name, make it a product. And that's where the need for our external advocate program came from. What we were seeing was a particular subset of our users, in this case student leaders, were asking us for certain resources that when we provided them those resources and actually took a step back and looked at that, we went, wait a minute, this looks like an external advocate program. And there's loads of other places that fits. For example, if you look at companies like DigitalOcean and Docker, they've had the same thing, that they found, hang on a minute, this looks like a regional meetup program where we're empowering local meetup organizers to host a meetup. So essentially, I guess the core message here is like, look at your support needs of your users. If you're finding that there's a type of user who's sending in regular support requests and that user looks like a force multiplier, you may have an external advocate program waiting for you. Okay, cool. Well, we have to wrap up now, but I just wanted to very quickly ask, DevRelCon, it's been a great event so far. Yep. What do you think? What's the reaction been like? Are you excited for the future? Yeah, absolutely. So I've been to almost every DevRelCon except for the San Francisco edition. I do have to say the content this time has been phenomenal. Like This has really been a step up. I'm super excited for the next Tokyo edition as well, especially.
Awesome. It's been nice talking to you, Joe.
Love you too.
Thank you very much.